Benjamin Franklin, a founding father, an inventor, a philosopher. But there's a side of Franklin that history often overlooks. This is a man whose legacy extends far beyond the image of a kite flying in a thunderstorm, far beyond the face on the $100 bill. Franklin was indeed a founding father, a title he earned through his instrumental role in drafting the U.S. Constitution. His contributions to the birth of the United States are undeniable, and his influence on the nation's early development is a topic that could fill volumes. But we're not here to rehash what every schoolchild learns. Franklin was also an inventor. His creations are many and varied, from the lightning rod to bifocal glasses, from the Franklin stove to the glass harmonica. His innovative spirit was a driving force throughout his life, pushing him to constantly question, experiment, and create. But the man was also a philosopher, a deep thinker who pondered the big questions of life and humanity. His words of wisdom, found in his famous Poor Richard's Almanac, continue to inspire and provoke thought even today. Yet, as influential as he was, Franklin was still a man of his time. And like many men of his era, there are aspects of his life that have been glossed over. Aspects that are not so easily reconciled with the lofty ideals he is known for. Like the hidden chapters in every great story, these lesser-known facets of Franklin's life add depth to his character, revealing a man who was as complex and contradictory as the times he lived in. This is the Franklin that history often overlooks, the Franklin we aim to explore. So, as we peel back the layers of time and dust off the pages of history, we invite you on this journey. A journey that will take you beyond the well-trodden path into the shadows and footnotes of history. Now, prepare to delve into the mysteries and controversies of Benjamin Franklin's life that you won't find in your typical history book. Franklin's interactions with Native Americans were more complex than most people realize. Benjamin Franklin, statesman, inventor, and founding father, held a unique perspective on the indigenous people of America. He was one of the few colonial leaders who recognized and respected the social and political structures of Native American societies. Franklin's views were shaped by his interactions with the Native Americans, which began in earnest when he was appointed as the official printer of Pennsylvania's Indian treaties in the mid-18th century. He was privy to the negotiations and discussions that took place, and these experiences served to deepen his understanding of the indigenous people. In his writings, Franklin often expressed admiration for the democratic processes of the Iroquois Confederacy, a powerful alliance of 6 Native American nations. He was intrigued by their system of governance, which emphasized consensus and equality, and was inspired to incorporate some of these principles into the American Constitution. However, while Franklin admired the Native Americans, he was also complicit in policies that led to their dispossession. As a representative of the Pennsylvania Assembly, he participated in treaty negotiations that resulted in the loss of indigenous lands. Despite his respect for their societies, Franklin, like many of his contemporaries, believed in the inevitability and even the desirability of Native American assimilation into European ways of life. The impact of Franklin's actions on the indigenous population was significant. His involvement in treaties and negotiations contributed to the displacement and cultural erosion of Native American societies, yet his admiration for their political structures also influenced the foundational principles of American democracy. These aspects of Franklin's life often go unmentioned, yet they profoundly influenced his worldview and legacy. His interactions with Native Americans reflect the paradoxes of his character, a man who could both admire and undermine the societies he encountered. These complexities remind us that historical figures are often more nuanced than the narratives we construct about them. Behind the closed doors of Franklin's home, a different narrative unfolds. In the privacy of his household, Franklin was not just a revered statesman and inventor, he was also a slave owner. Yes, you heard that right. Benjamin Franklin, one of America's founding fathers, owned slaves. While this fact may be surprising to some, it's essential to remember that slavery was a common practice in the 18th century. Franklin owned several slaves who worked as household servants. But it was not just the ownership of slaves that darkens the portrait of Franklin. It was his relationship with one of them. One of these slaves, a woman whose name history has unfortunately forgotten, bore him a child. This aspect of Franklin's life is not widely discussed, perhaps because it presents a stark contrast to the image we have of him as a paragon of virtue and wisdom. The child, William Franklin, was raised in his father's household and later became the royal governor of New Jersey. However, the relationship between father and son was strained, particularly during the American Revolution, due to their differing political views. The moral complexities of these aspects of Franklin's life are difficult to reconcile with the man we know from history books. While he later became a vocal opponent of slavery and president of the Pennsylvania Society for promoting the abolition of slavery, we cannot ignore these dark chapters of his life. It's important to remember that historical figures, much like us, were human, with their own set of flaws and contradictions. Franklin's story serves as a reminder that the narrative of history is often more complicated than what's presented in textbooks. These hidden facets of Franklin's life challenge the traditional image of this revered founding father. But acknowledging these complexities does not diminish his contributions. Rather, it provides a more nuanced understanding of the man and the era in which he lived. Despite living in a deeply religious era, Franklin's views on God were anything but conventional. Benjamin Franklin, a man of many talents and pursuits, held a unique standpoint when it came to matters of faith and religion. He was born into a Puritan family, yet his spiritual journey led him down a path far from the rigid religious doctrines of his upbringing. Franklin was a deist, a believer in a higher power, but not necessarily in the way most of his contemporaries were. He believed in a God who created the universe but did not interfere in the daily lives of humans. This belief, rooted in reason and observation of the natural world, was a stark contrast to the Puritan belief in a God who was actively involved in human affairs. Franklin's views on organized religion were equally unconventional. While he saw the social utility of organized religion in promoting moral behavior, he was skeptical of religious dogma and ritual. He once said, "I have found Christian dogma unintelligible. Early in life I absented myself from Christian assemblies." Yet he also acknowledged religion's role in society, stating, "Religion will be a powerful regulator for our actions, give us peace and tranquility within our minds, and render us benevolent, useful, and beneficial to others." As for his personal philosophy about God, Franklin believed in a God of virtue and morality. He wrote, "I conceive then that the infinite has created many beings or gods, that some of them may have been advanced by their actions and merits at the scale of existence, by the progress of infinite ages from the lowest state to the highest, where their benevolence and love of virtue have made them approach the supreme existence, and that the most perfect of these must be the God of the universe." Franklin's unique spiritual perspective offers a fresh lens through which to view this iconic figure. His faith was a testament to his innovative mind, challenging the status quo and seeking truth through reason and observation. His views on God and religion not only reflect his personal beliefs but also provide a glimpse into the spiritual landscape of his time. In the basement of Franklin's former home, a chilling discovery was made. Years after Benjamin Franklin's passing, a gruesome surprise was unearthed beneath the very floors of his London residence. A total of 15 skeletons, including 6 children, were found hidden away in what was once Franklin's basement. The discovery, to say the least, was shocking. It painted a macabre picture that starkly contrasted with the Benjamin Franklin we've come to know. The statesman, the inventor, the philosopher. Was this darker side of Franklin, a man of science and reason, a part of his legacy that history had conveniently forgotten? Now, before we let our imaginations run wild with tales of Franklin the serial killer, let's delve into the theories that emerged to explain this unsettling find. The most prevalent of these theories points not to Franklin, but to his friend and lodger, William Hewson. Hewson, a surgeon and anatomist, was known to conduct private anatomy lessons. In the 18th century, such lessons were crucial for medical advancement. But the procurement of cadavers for study was a legal and moral gray area. Grave robbing was not uncommon, and bodies were often sold to medical practitioners under the table. Could it be that Franklin's basement served as Hewson's underground anatomy lab? This theory is supported by the nature of the skeletal remains. Many showed signs of scalpel marks and dissection, which suggests they were used for anatomical study rather than victims of violent crime. The wide age range of the skeletons, from infants to the elderly, also aligns with the variety of specimens needed for comprehensive anatomical education. Of course, this doesn't entirely absolve Franklin of involvement. He was known to be a man of science with a keen interest in the human body and its workings. It's plausible, even likely, that he was aware of, if not complicit in, Hewson's activities. But without concrete evidence, this remains speculation. In the end, this grim discovery doesn't tarnish Franklin's legacy, but rather enriches our understanding of the time he lived in. It's a stark reminder of the lengths to which scientists and physicians of the past were willing to go in the pursuit of knowledge, often skirting the edges of legality and morality. It also illustrates how our interpretations of historical figures are often simplified, leaving out the complexities and contradictions that make them truly human. The mystery of the skeletons in Franklin's basement adds a layer of intrigue to his already complex legacy. This chapter of Franklin's life serves as a testament to the intricate tapestry of history, where not everything is as it first appears. It reminds us that the figures we revere were not saints or villains, but human beings, flawed and multifaceted, just like us. Despite the controversies and mysteries, Benjamin Franklin's impact is undeniable. This multifaceted man was not just a statesman and a philosopher, but also an inventor whose creations continue to influence our lives today. Let's delve into the world of Franklin the inventor. His inventive mind gave us the lightning rod, bifocal glasses, and the Franklin stove, to name a few. These inventions were not merely products of idle curiosity, but solutions to the problems of his day. His bifocal glasses, for example, solved the common issue of needing two separate pairs of glasses for distance and reading. His inventions proved that Franklin was a man who saw the world not just as it was, but as it could be. Beyond his inventions, Franklin's political influence was significant. He was one of the founding fathers of the United States, contributing to the drafting of both the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. His diplomacy in France was instrumental in securing French support during the American Revolution. He was a true believer in the power of unity and cooperation, advocating for the colonies to come together as a single nation. Franklin's philosophical ideas also left an indelible mark on the world. His belief in the power of education, self-improvement, and civic responsibility still resonates today. He founded the first public library in America and the first American Philosophical Society, demonstrating his commitment to the spread of knowledge. However, it's important to remember that Franklin was a man of his time, and his legacy is not without its shadows. His early ownership of slaves and his evolving stance on slavery remind us that even great minds can be products of their societal norms. So, who was Benjamin Franklin? He was a man of brilliance and flaws, of great accomplishments and deep contradictions. His impact on our world is immeasurable, and his legacy continues to shape our understanding of what it means to be an American. Benjamin Franklin, a man of many faces, a man of many mysteries, and a man whose legacy continues to shape our world. As we conclude our journey into the unseen side of Benjamin Franklin, we realize that history is often more complex than it appears. This exploration has taken us beyond the traditional narrative, painting a more nuanced picture of a man who is often reduced to his achievements and inventions. We delved into Franklin's interactions with the Native Americans, his role in the Thanksgiving tradition, and the often glossed-over fact that he was a slave owner. We examined the unpalatable truth of how he fathered a child with one of his slaves. These are aspects of his life that aren't typically taught in school, but they are crucial to understanding the full breadth of his legacy. We also explored the mystery of the skeletons found in Franklin's basement years after his death. Theories abound, but the truth remains elusive. This tantalizing puzzle adds yet another layer of intrigue to Franklin's multifaceted character. Beyond the physical relics, we delved into Franklin's spiritual beliefs. His views on God and religion were unorthodox for his time, reflecting his inquisitive mind and independent spirit. This facet of Franklin's life offers a glimpse into his philosophical leanings and the way he perceived the world. The legacy of Benjamin Franklin is not a simple one. It is a tapestry woven from threads of brilliance and innovation, marred by stains of moral ambiguity. This complexity is what makes Franklin an endlessly fascinating figure to study. In truth, the study of history is not about lionizing or demonizing figures of the past. It is about understanding them in their full context, their achievements, their failings, their humanity. This exploration of Benjamin Franklin serves as a reminder of the importance of this approach. If you found this exploration of Benjamin Franklin enlightening, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to join our family of history enthusiasts. delve deeper into the untold stories of the past, and let's discover together the human side of history. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you.